Ladies and gentlemen, this is JoeJin Movie So Awesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Jin.
Today we're going to talk about Succession Season 4, Episode 3. Spoilers.
Major spoilers, especially this one.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Episode 3 or any of the Succession...
prior episodes, please come back later. Here we go. R.I.P. Logan Roy. R.I.P. Wow. But, you know, I got to say, I know the season is not wrapped up yet, but this has got to be my top episode out of the entire series. And it kind of explains why episode 1 and 2 were that way. You know, we did said sometimes it felt like it was going through the motions a little in the earlier parts of the episode.
Yeah.
But now it all makes sense. I mean, we did, remember in our review of the first one, we did talk about Death Day, right?
Yeah, you mentioned that the birthday setting. It felt like the last part of King Lear.
Yeah.
Just before everybody starts dying.
I mean, the series has a King Lear vibe, but there was something about a celebration being depressing, and it also explains why episode 2 had Logan Roy say "I love you all." But you're not serious people, fuck you. So like that's like his kindest words. Like there's always I mean, you mentioned it about when Greg and him has the back and forth. It's so funny that this episode start with Logan Roy because Greg is double strike now. First of all, he didn't understand the situation when Logan Roy was saying humiliate me. He was not meaning what he was just being flexing. And secondly, he messed up that Carrie thing. So he I think he was going to be thrown on the bus too. And he kind of sensed that. That's why he was trying to leech on to the kids again. So everybody on the boat were except Rome. Oh, we're going to talk about Roman. You sneaky bastard. But that was but it was a shock though.
Yeah. It caught us completely off guard.
Even the episode starts as a misdirection.
Yeah. And what was brilliant about this episode was we mentioned privately, but the camera work is done very well.
Right.
I love the fact that they don't actually show us the moment Logan died.
Yeah, that was
or
brilliant.
any of like a close up on the CPR or anything.
Yeah.
We're just presuming that he's dead.
They show us gradually, right? And I think they were you could argue that this episode, the main characters was the Roy children, and we're in their shoe because we're just as confused, and suspicious too.
There's a part where somebody says that this might be a test or something.
Really? Okay.
Was it Roman or was it Kendall? But somebody says that this might be a test.
I don't remember that line, but it did occur to I think audiences will.
Or was it Tom? Yeah, but anyways, so we also kind of
we're
are
suspicious.
in a disbelief that this is happening, and we're maybe thinking, oh, he's gonna be okay eventually. He's gonna get his consciousness back, and so on.
And we do get a lot of that from Tom too, because he's very calm and they don't know what's going on. And this is a very realistic death scene, and I really love this episode because I feel like the first 2 episodes, things were happening too fast and jumping back and forth. But this episode was completely grounded on a plane and a ship.
Yeah, it was revolving around these 2 places.
The real-time event. It really gave me that vibe of that. Remember in season 3, the shareholders meeting?
Oh, yeah.
That one was also a one long marathon of starting the shareholders meeting and ending it. So there was this intensity to it. And this one definitely had that.
Yeah.
And my God, Logan, we talked about this, but he died as he lived. As he gets on the plane, he's talking to his son-in-law / bitch and say, we're gonna kill this guy, and we're gonna fuck this guy up, and then he makes his son fuck Gerri over, throwing one stone and catching 2 birds, keeping Roman loyal to him while make sure they're not a unified unit again, scheming, and then boom, and then you know what's scary? Even like the children don't get to say the last word to him.
Yeah.
Like he's dying.
So he's leaving everything on his own terms.
Exactly.
Just like a king he is.
Yeah. My God. But at the same time, like I love how they show the reality of death, though. Like, you know, at the same time, he's also mortal.
Yeah.
You know, I love the last scene was beautiful. Roman coming, and hats off to Roman. Like, he was the most vulnerable out of the kids, but he's the one who can, like, look at his father's corpse. He's almost like a puppy.
Yeah.
You know, and that was kind of sad and beautiful at the same time.
You know, mentioning puppy, you know, I was also heartbroken at Colin. Because there's that brief moment where Colin is on the face, you can tell that he's completely devastated by the news.
He's shocked.
Yeah, he's shocked. And like Logan said in the previous episode, was it previous or the first episode? But anyways, previously he was having that dinner with Logan, and Logan was opening up to him, telling him that he's his best friend, best buddy. What was it? And Colin doesn't say much. He's very reserved, but from the reaction, we could clearly tell that he really did care a lot about Logan.
I think it's just
and that scene, it contrasts with Carrie. I know she's in shock, but she just gets in the car and she just drives off.
I think. I think so. I mean, I think Colin was a little shocked too. And another thing was, but also Connor was also shocking.
That's right.
You know, because Connor, it was so sad that like, it didn't even occur to the kids to give him a chance to talk to his father too.
That's right.
Not even the lieutenants. It's just like
after 10-15 minutes, they suddenly realize, what do we tell Connor?
Yeah.
And the fact is that they're at his wedding.
You know what's so beautiful, though? I think Connor, you could argue that Connor is like little Carmine from Sopranos. He may be dumb, but I thought it was he had beautiful scenes after the death. Because, his dream is dumb, but he at least gets the wedding without any bitch-ass, like, fucking suckers.
Like a genuine one.
And he had a real conversation with Willa. That was pretty, like, I thought that was, I don't know how you thought that was.
I thought Willa was, like, super honest.
No, I thought Connor was really manly. You know, because you could argue that that's pathetic.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, like, refreshingly honest. Like,
it's like, I'm old, I'm not getting any younger.
No, but look at this. Like, all the Roy children have terrible relationship. Like, even Ken, he broke up with the Pierce girl, and his wife, I don't think they ever communicated honestly like Willa and Connor just did. Look at Tom and Shiv. They're always scheming for power, but here, Connor says straight up. So, he knows the answer already, by the way. He's like, yeah, it's for the money, and right? And Willa's like, the security's nice.
Yeah, the security's nice.
And Connor, you know, because I felt like Connor said this to Willa, right? I'm afraid you might leave, right? But I felt like Shiv felt that way about Tom too.
But she avoids that conversation.
Yeah, and Rome is afraid of that too. He's like all Roy kids are afraid of abandonment.
Yeah.
But Connor is the one that admits it. I thought that was pretty like, wow, good for you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's how I saw it.
We also see how immature Roman is at handling these things.
Yeah, remember?
Because like the way he tries to tell Gerri that she's got to go, you can tell that he's super nervous. He's really not good at this. And even after the news of his father's death, and he's facing Gerri alone in that room, he has this like lame attempt at trying to get comfort from Gerri.
But that's such a weakness, though. See,
yeah.
You know immediately who Gerri is and Roman is when Rome tells the bad news. Gerri gets emotional, but just for a minute.
Yeah.
And then she calmly collects herself and then says, I'm good. And, you know, that goes to show her professional. Because I feel like she was calling that Swedish guy. When
Matsson,
when Roman's walking in. Because, you know, Gerri has no reason to be loyal now. I mean, she could go for the CEO seat, of course. But there's nothing stopping her from, like, playing footsie with other people now.
Especially after having heard that she was getting the axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back to Rome is, like, back to Connor for just another thing is, like, remember in, like, the woman that gave Tom a blowjob and made him eat his cum, he was with Rome too, right? Remember the line, and Rome is like, "Do you want to get married or something?" And she tells Rome that, do you think that's how you get people to stay with you?
That's right.
Like, so all Roy children are emotionally defunct, have abandonment issues. That's why, I think that's why they are the aggressor. Because they would rather betray first than get betrayed.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Logan does. So back to Connor. I hope Connor gets a happy ending. I feel like his presidency might fail, but he's going to be having such a great time.
Yeah.
And, I think Connor is probably the only child that will power up from Logan's death. Because this is my theory. I feel like Ken is going to lose it because, like, so much of his life is defined by fighting his father.
Yeah, that's right. If we think about the seasons 1, 2, and 3, the entire series was revolving around the fight between Logan and his kids. And now that Logan's gone, I'm kind of thinking that they're going to lose purpose. And we clearly see from this episode that there are a lot of sharks in the sea. And while it's going to take some time for them to really prepare themselves for what's coming, but whatever's out there is going to take every advantage of their
No, but like, I don't think, like, the whole point of this episode was that there's no time to prepare. Because Gerri was smart. She was telling the kids, we can have you leave the shareholders the board meeting on compassionate ground. And that was a political move. So she's already trying to isolate them away from the succession conversation. But, hats off to Ken, though. He does have the most experience of these things. So he immediately tells his siblings what is actually going on.
And we're going to be defined by what we choose to do today.
Yeah. So, like, Ken did show leadership. But my problem with him is, I think... remember in season 3 when Logan and Ken were talking alone in their mom's wedding? And Ken says this to Logan, do you think I want you dead? I'll be broken if you die. So a lot of I think, and even Shiv, when he gets the news and sees Ken's like cry face, she says, "Mom." I thought that was actually, I like, how did you interpret that? I interpret that as, yeah, she hates her mom, but I felt like it didn't even occur to the kids that their father could die.
Yeah,
like he's such a force of nature. But that was kind of funny. Like, I like the little details. So.
And also hats off to the actor. What's his name? Jeremy Strong, who played Kendall. I mean, we see him after having that phone call with Tom, and going off to send the news. I mean, to spread the news to Shiv. We instantly see that Ken from season 3 in an instant. He goes right back to that puppy mode, like the sad Ken. And I also love how was it the end of this episode? Around the end of this episode, kind of juxtaposes with the end of the previous episode, where Kendall was kind of like lighting up. His face was lighting up. He was smiling after having that dispute with his father. This time we see that he's truly sad. Like you said, he said he'd be broke without
broken.
He'd be broken if the father's gone. Now that we see that he really is about to be broken.
Yeah, but I think we'll have to see what happens immediately in the next episode, though, because I think the what's going to happen is the board will need to decide on. The CEO seat is vacant, and that seat cannot be vacant. There needs to be an interim CEO or a new official CEO. So I do think this is I think the whole point of us watching now is to see which family member might break, and will they be able to sustain, because I think they need each other. This episode showed, I think, the strength and weaknesses of each, because I give a lot of credit to Shiv, because right after announcing to the press, she hugs Tom, but then you get that cold face, that like but I don't fucking trust you kind of face. And Rome, despite the last one to admit that his father was dead, as soon as he's able to admit it, he gets to see the corpse. Look at Ken, though. After he shows that leadership, he can't even look at his father's body.
Yeah. And I love the little details. You know how when Rome approaches the airplane, he takes off his jacket, and then he leaves the plane without the jacket, which means the body of Logan is probably covered by his jacket.
That's great
detail. inside the body bag.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you. I love
that detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'm guessing is going to happen from now on is that they're going to have to claw their way out of all this, and it's going to take all of their effort combined. And like you said, the question is, will they be able to consolidate their powers and strengths?
So there's two battles here already. One is what you just said. The other one is the deal with Matsson, because we saw the screenshot of the share price falling. Mm-hmm. So if I'm Matsson, wait a minute, that's not worth 25 billion anymore. Mm-hmm. That's worth 8 billion. Mm-hmm. And plus, remember, like the last conversation Logan had was, I got the sense that Matsson wants ATN.
Yeah, because we constantly get this like hint that he's pissed off about spinning that off.
Yeah, because he wants the whole thing. So like he's already in a good position now. Your share prices are down, so he might suggest that if you bring ATN, I'll keep the price per share as same as before,
or the price will have to go down.
Yeah, and that gives them huge leverage. And the kids have Pierce to contend with, because Pierces are going to say, "Are you going to honor our deal?" Like that could happen, and they also have to deal with their mother, because I think like with Logan's death, I don't know what his will says.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But usually, wife gets a lot. I guess it's ex-wife now, but so the kids need to win her over too, because she has vote. She has vote on the trust, and so they have to consolidate. I do hope we get an episode of the inheritance though. I do wonder who will get Logan's share and all that. Like, is it Ken, Shiv, or Rome? Is it divided equally? Because
it'll be hilarious if it's Gerri.
That'll be funny. That'll be funny.
It's like his last fuck you to the family.
That's so evil, though. That's so evil.
I would love to see that happen.
Oh man, that would be so evil.
Or actually, Tom.
I don't know though. Tom. I don't know. You rarely.
I mean, it's unlikely, but
no, you rarely see in-laws get that. They usually get like, even in like large like they're usually like high-paid positions, but never equity. Like share is like the most precious thing in the world, and voting shares on the family trust. Like basically, like the holding company above the holding company. Like hell no. Like get your fucking like hands off. So I mean, I don't know, like, but you know, hats off to the creators. Like this, totally like destroys our predictions. Like now it's like free for all. And here's the thing, Roman. I'm sure Kendall and Shiv is gonna find out about Rome's betrayal. His little side visit to his dad, fucking Gerri over, because that's gonna cause problems. And Ken and Shiv, they're already suspicious of him. Oh, what's this text? What is this betrayal? And then, you know, they might end, because another smart move by the executives will be to divide the family.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they already know the relationship between the kids and Logan, and I'm pretty sure they're going to juice this. They're going to take every advantage that they can take over the kids. And since Logan's gone, there really is no figure among the children that they truly fear. So, I mean, you know, like, while Hugo was on the boat, you know how, like, Ken orders him around? It's like, he kind of, like, basically orders him to see what's happening and orders him to stop the boat. And Hugo, at the time, he kind of, he complies to it, but while I was watching, it kind of got me concerned because, like, with Logan gone, I was thinking to myself, do these kids really have that influence over them?
Well, I mean, not right now, but there's some things you can't change. Is they have control of the family trust. They have voting shares over the decision of the company. I mean, the board is a different story. Like, because even Logan was threatened by the half-half vote, right? Because you have to assume that like at least half of the board right now are complete loyalists, but the other 50% are swingers. But here's the thing, though. Hugo, I think, if you're a smart guy like him, because we know Hugo is an opportunist, complete like garbage person that Logan really loves.
Along with Frank.
No, hey, I disagree with that. Isn't like, hey, I thought Frank handled the situation pretty well.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact he once betrayed him with that opportunity.
No, but hey, I would say this. I thought he was the most like sensible, like to other people around.
Oh yeah, and he had that line. I've known him 40 years, and he's like 3 feet away from me.
And Carl was also always funny. Like, I'm gonna have a stiffener, and then but Tom was such a fucking asshole. I mean, I guess it makes sense because he hates Carrie. She looked like she just caught a foul ball in Yankee Stadium, and then Carl immediately says, "Chuckles the clown." Like that's so disrespectful, but that was pretty funny. And we do get to find out that Tom has a folder called Logistics that has probably all his shit in it. If I know Greg, he's not going to delete that. He's probably putting it on his portable memory stick.
I mean, we do have a precedent where Greg keeps a lot of like confidential information.
Yeah. And then Tom did make fun of him. I have other guys Gregging for me, basically saying you're replaceable. But that's an interesting situation. But I did love Tom's tears in the Logan's bedroom though, because that was like he like Greg and him are like a true couple. Tom is the most vulnerable and honest in front of like when he's talking to Greg, and he cries. My protector is dead. Basically you could argue that the king is dead. Long live the king, and there's a question mark. But I do think Frank, Carl, and Gerri will fight each other too. Because remember when Logan was deciding a CEO, they all put themselves as candidates. And Carl is a CFO, and I think Frank is some kind of executive chairman.
Yeah, and they all have those years under their belt.
Yeah,
so it's up for grabs.
And they have huge leverage, not because they're executives, because they know all the dirt of the company. So it's like one of those loyalty thing where.
And I'm also thinking, they're familiar faces to the board, so yeah.
And the public, because there's a lot of argument you can make when something like this happens. You want to put in a safe face, or because but Shiv showed ambition when the reporter asked the question, and she said we'll be shepherding through it, and that's a very ambiguous statement. But that kind of indicates that they will be taking managerial roles in the company, and
it kind of foreshadows the upcoming conflict.
I think it's going to be full throttle war, and then my guess is I think this hasn't changed. It's going to be a huge tragedy. I think Ken might kill himself. He might really kill himself.
He might. But now I'm getting a little more certain that the only person who's going to be out of all this with a smile is going to be Greg.
Yeah, and Connor.
Yeah.
Greg. My Gregor. So shall we give it a number grade?
I would give this like hands down 9.
Oh man, you're so stingy.
Just
10 out of 10.
Okay, fine.
No, like
9.5. I would give it a 9.5.
No, seriously, this one is like definitely gonna be played in the Emmys, like as one of the nominated, whatever, for like screenwriting, directing, or even the acting. I do think I loved Shiv's performance. Siobhan, I forget the actor's name, but when she says, "I can't have it," that was heartbreaking. When she walks in, and the great detail is Tom actually called her first. Yeah, twice. So I think I love how this episode has so many like little hints. Like, so why grudge? If you were close with Tom, you would have had you would have been the first person to talk to your father as he lay dying. Yeah, and he was in the process of dying. And when she said "daddy," that kind of broke me too.
Yeah, it doesn't. She suddenly says "daddy."
Yeah. And Rome being a bitch, he couldn't even say "I love you." He's like, "You're a good dad. You're a good sport." What did he say?
And you gotta love that voice message he had for his dad. Oh, are you a cunt? What was it?
Yeah. No, but I felt like Ken was the strongest of even the call though, because he didn't forgive his father. You know that?
Oh yeah, he says it.
I don't forgive you.
I don't forgive you.
I thought that was a cold line though. We love you. I love you, but I don't forgive you. So I mean, Ken can never be underestimated. I mean, I think he has the administrative experience and vision. He just doesn't have that killer instinct. Shiv, I think, does.
Yeah, and this is why they need to combine their strengths. Yeah, they got to work together to get through this.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
9.5.
You
just in case.
I never seen you give a perfect score. What's up with that, man?
You know, if I'm to be certain of giving this episode like a 10,
are you Greg?
I would have to watch the episode multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
just watched it once, so maybe I'll have to watch it twice to make sure.
Am I to be certain? That's like Greg in a congressional hearing that annoyed that fucking senator. What the fuck was that? Like, proper English, please. Noun, verb, noun. But that was funny. But anyway, this is a great episode. I did tear up, and I like, it's got me so excited for what's going to happen next. And before we end it, I do think Logan Roy's shadow is going to loom until the very end.
Yeah.
He's going to be one of those Game of Thrones, what's his name?
Tywin Lannister.
Yeah. Those dead guys that like continue to haunt the show. Like, I think we're going to have him on like backgrounds. Forget about the funeral. Like, his funeral is going to be all business. And I can't wait to look forward to it.
Yeah.
And damn. Anyway.
So hopefully we'll kind of figure out where this is headed in the next episode.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please press like and subscribe. We'll be back in around 3 minutes to
talk about the
latest episode of Mandalorian. Thank you so much. This was JoeJin Movie So Awesome. I was Joe.
I was Jin. We'll be right back.
Fuck off.